Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk to you all about something that I did this year. I feel like a lot of people, at least in my circle, have been reevaluating what is important to them. Because the pandemic has kind of forced us all to be in solitude, at least for me, I have a lot more time for thinking. And that thinking is me figuring out what I actually want to do in my life, what's important to me, and what my values are. So rewind back in July of this year, I quit my job. Saying it out loud still feels weird because it is December now, I still don't have employment, but I have no regrets. And I want to share this video because a lot of people have asked me, how the hell did I have the courage to quit my job in the middle of a pandemic, especially when my partner was laid off for a job that we moved back to the Bay Area for, which depleted our savings. I'm gonna be honest, I'm very fortunate and I have a lot of gratitude for the financial opportunity that I did have prior to the pandemic. I did rebuild my savings with the money that we did have coming in at the time. So we moved here in October, and up until March, we rebuilt at least half of our savings. Not quite enough for me to take the plunge and quit my job on my own, but enough to feel like I had something to fall back on. Some people call this an emergency fund. I don't like to plan for emergencies. I like to plan for freedom because I want the freedom to decide whatever the fuck I want to do, which in this case was to quit my job. This is not the case for everyone. I want to be clear on that. So while I'm going to be sharing my personal story and that might resonate with you, there's a lot of people out there that have different, more nuanced situations. The first time I felt like I was considering quitting my job was actually before the pandemic. I wanted to make sure that I was putting in 110% of my efforts into making this the most wonderful opportunity for myself, but also for everyone else involved. But because I was unhappy, I knew that there might come a day that I want to quit, and because there might come a day, I want to have all my ducks in a row. However, after some time, more and more things came to surface, and I realized that while I love my job so much, this just isn't the environment for me. I didn't feel like I was living my values or my integrity. My spirit wasn't happy. I realized that I was in situations where I felt like I had to hide myself. Me having my own voice just wasn't on the table. I had made a lot of decisions prior in living my own truth, and that is my golden rule. So my golden rule is to live your truth, speak the truth, and be the truth, and I didn't feel like I could do that. I made the decision to quit because I realized that I wasn't 100% in control of my experience. I just wanted a different opportunity. My soul was crying for it. So questions I ask myself that might be helpful for you is, do you feel joy? I know it sounds super weird, but it is that simple. My partner had shared with me, happiness is fleeting, but joy is everlasting. And I want to dissect that a little bit. I have had multiple happy moments at this company. I have had the most amazing experiences, and this opportunity did bring me to a lot of people that I consider family. There were moments of happiness and things that did make me happy, but I was using those things to convince myself to stay. Kind of like that relationship, you know that you need to end, but then it gets like good for a few days and you're like, oh, maybe it could work. And then the thing that happens that make you think that, no, this isn't working and I do need to end this. So that was how I was feeling. The foundation of my experience was not joy. So I was having more days where I was just super stressed out, burnt out. When it came down to it, I knew that this wasn't a place where I could have everlasting joy. So talking about joy, I've been in situations where the foundation is joy, but there might be some challenges or some lows and issues that I have, but those things don't even matter because the foundation is joy. Life is super nuanced. Work is nuanced. Relationships are nuanced. You're gonna have conflict, and just as long as that conflict feels worth it to you and you feel like you can at least be yourself and not compromise who you are, then maybe it can work and you can stay at this job. Whether you're looking for a career change or leaving a company, you know, it's totally your call. Which leads me into your comfort level in financial security. I had to ask myself this question because my whole financial situation had changed. Coming to the Bay Area, we knew we were going to be tripling our expenses. We both had jobs, but with the pandemic, him being laid off and me taking a pay cut and then planning on quitting, I wanted to make sure that I had a runway that wasn't just 3 months worth of savings. I knew that I wouldn't feel comfortable unless I had 6 months of runway. And the perk would also be that my partner got a job. But I wasn't banking on that. I didn't want to bank on waiting around until he was able to find employment. So some personal financial background, our expenses together, and this has included fixed and variable spending, was about $4,000. We already had $8,000, but I wanted to have at least 6 months, which was around $25,000 in the bank. Again, I feel very fortunate because I don't know how we were able to save that money, but it happened. We really cut down a lot. I removed all of the mindless spending I was doing and focused more on intuitive spending, making sure that I really was only spending on what I needed. There were things that contributed to my well-being and mental health. Those also made the cut, even if it was wine or a bar of like artisanal chocolate, a bath bomb. Those are the 3 things that I like to indulge in every month when I have like my self-care routine, and that is worth every penny. So didn't cut out those things even though technically I didn't need it, but I feel like when it comes to your health, happiness, it is a need, it is a necessity. And I take like Marie Kondo's methodology. I Marie Kondo'd my spending, and I really asked myself what sparked joy. I just wanted fresh produce, artisanal chocolate, wine, either bath salts or some bath bomb to give me a spa day. And I was able to do that while also aggressively saving. So now that I had my number in mind of what I wanted, I said that once I hit that amount, $25,000, I was going to quit my job. And I was banking that this would come in August or September, but it actually happened in July. While I knew that I had it in me to stick it out for a couple of months, I really sat down with myself and asked, okay, yeah, it'd be nice to have more money and you could still like definitely have your sanity, but why go through that? Why continue on a path where you're not feeling joy? I really tried hard to listen to my intuition there, because that's where I feel my truth lives, and my intuition was telling me, nah, let's not wait, you should just go. Trust me on this one. And my partner still didn't have a job, so I definitely was taking a little bit of a risk, but that was my risk to take because I felt comfortable with the goal of savings that I had. Another thing that I asked myself was, what do I want to do with my time off? And this helps me actually set up the amount of time that I was talking about, the 6 months worth of savings. So I wanted to rest because I had been working since I was 15 years old, non-stop. I have never taken a break. I was either working and in school, or when I wasn't in school, I was working full time. When I graduated, I went right to a job. I worked usually 2 or 3 jobs at a time during my whole life, and I was feeling burnt out. I did not know how to rest. I was always in hustle mode, and I started to reevaluate hustle culture, and it was just something that I don't vibe with. I'm not here for that shit. I'm not here for the hustle culture. I think that you can find wealth and abundance and success without having to put your mind, body, spirit, and heart through all of that bullshit. It is bullshit. So number 1 was rest. Number 2 was travel. I knew that during a pandemic, travel was going to be different, but the travel that I wanted to do was strictly just be in nature and to go camping. And I got to really recharge and refuel myself. I loved hiking and just road tripping, listening to podcasts, being in nature, looking at the stars, the ocean, beautiful greenery, mountains, trees, rivers. I finally felt one with Earth, and that was something that I was longing to feel since I had been in New York City. So with travel, I knew that I would want to take at least a month off to do that, which I did. So I did a whole month of road tripping in the United States on the West Coast. And I also rested for another month, but I really wanted 3 solid months of just doing nothing but nature-related things and rest-related things. I love blogging. I needed to blog so hard. I'm still in the blogging phase, FYI. I am in the resting phase, but slowly coming out of it. I'm feeling kind of ready to get my momentum going when it comes to my own stuff, which is to start my own business. I've always wanted to start my own business. I just didn't really know what that would look like. I'm still not sure what that will look like, but I wanted 3 solid months of hardcore focus on the reflection and foundational part, which I gave myself a month to do, and I'm about to be in that month. The second month is the take action part, and the third month is you launch this bish part. Okay, so in total, that is 6 months of solid me time. Another thing that I did was mentally prepare myself for the change in comfort that I knew was coming. I knew that not having a stream of income that was something that I could count on every 2 weeks would bring me a lot of financial anxiety. And I thought that like the biggest issue that I'd have would be, oh, I don't feel safe because I don't have income coming in. That actually wasn't it. I didn't feel like I was worthy because I wasn't making money. And that's a new thing that came to mind. I actually have never had that kind of thought before because I've always been making money. I've always had a job. And if I didn't have that job, I always had another job lined up. This was the first time since I was 15 years old that I wasn't making any income, and I just felt like a piece of lard. That was really hard to overcome. I'm still overcoming that and undoing that mindset, but it is something that I'm working on, and that's the beauty of this journey. I feel like I'm working on things that I wouldn't have been able to work on if I was always distracted by my work. 2020 just really pushed me to reevaluate what matters to me. I was done with bullshit that didn't make my soul feel at ease. Quitting my job was worth it to me because I do finally feel in alignment with my values. That's really it. I feel very privileged to be able to do that because not everyone else can. So I'm not sure if you're watching this and you're trying to decide, should I stay? Should I go? Cue The Clash. Just kidding. I do love that song though. The Clash is also one of my favorite bands, just a heads up. I hope that some of the questions that I brought up could really help you get closer to deciding what's best for you. But I encourage you to always live your truth, whatever that is. Don't compromise who you are. In life, there's compromises that we have to make. That is just life. And there's sacrifices that we have to make. And again, that is just life. But the one thing that I will never compromise is my truth. And it is also who I am. And if you don't feel like you're in a space where you can grow and shine in who you are, then I encourage you to fucking walk away. Drop. Thanks for watching my video. Stay shiny, and I hope that everyone is staying safe out there. California just went on a pretty much a month-long lockdown, and I have a plan to do absolutely nothing but watch Elf every single day of this month and drink a lot of eggnog and hot buttered rum because why not? Oh, and also throw in a nice, yummy bubble bath because I just gotta calm my nervous system, you know? All right, I will end it here because I am being delirious and silly. Bye!